this next song, and
Yeah,
actually
this is our big interplanetary hit here.
it really is, actually. So on June 1st, my phone rang, and one of my friends said, "Oh, is this the nationally known songwriter Bonnie Abrams?" And you know, like when you do this kind of music, your friends always say things like that. I said, "Yeah, thanks." She goes, "No, I mean it. I just heard you on NPR." I said, "Well, I'm on XXI." No, not XXI, NPR. And what I had found out, the lyrics of this song are actually in a book that just came out, and it's called Knish, in Search of the Jewish Soul Food. And, you know, it's just one of these funny stories where I wrote this song about the Knishes of my... Let me see, does anybody here not know what a knish is? Okay, I'm going to explain it in here. It's kind of it's a Jewish food that is kind of like, usually it's filled with potato, but sometimes it's buckwheat groats and sometimes it's spinach, but it's basically wrapped in a kind of a dough. And sometimes it's baked and sometimes it's fried. And the kind that you see in the stores...
It's a pierogi.
It is. You know, I always wanted to write a song. Actually, it's funny you should say that because I've been trying to recapture the Knishes that this song is about, and I actually tried frying a pierogi, and it came kind of close. So, because they're a fried knish. But anyway, there was this, when I grew up in New York, we used to spend summers in the Catskills. And if anybody wonders why any of us little Jewish kids had weight problems, so here's what happens. You have breakfast in your bungalow, and then at about 11 o'clock, the chow chow cup truck comes by. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and you can get like chow mein in like a fried bowl. So that was around 11 o'clock. Then you have lunch. And then at about 3 o'clock, the knish man came, and he had a knish. And then you had dinner, and then after dinner, 1 or 2 ice cream trucks came by. So, but anyway, these knishes were really unique. And my memory of this guy was it was a VW Bug that somehow he had fitted with an oven. I don't know how, that's what it looked like to me. And he would come and sell these knishes, and us little kids would run and get them. So anyway, if you look up Ruby the Knish Man or Ruby's Knishes, you'll find a site dedicated to this guy Ruby, because during the year he would sell knishes in Coney Island to the high school kids, and in summer he went to the Catskills. And so this song Alan put on his website for our trio Loving Knishes, and then he put an MP3 file, and somebody asked about using it with Ruby the Knish Man, which of course, you know, when you're a songwriter and if anybody wants to use your song, as long as they say your name, you're thrilled. And this woman called me and said, "I heard your song, and I'm writing a book about knishes, and I wondered if I could have permission, maybe sign a permission thing to use your words, of course, with credit." I said, "Sure, who wouldn't want that?" You know? And so then the funny thing was she was giving a pre-book talk in New York. You know, his book wasn't finished, but she was trying to get people interested. And it so happened I was going to be in New York then, because my daughter, who's a dancer, we're going back to New York this weekend to take her to an Alvin Ailey intensive, but this was a couple of years ago she was doing this ballet intensive, was actually going to be in New York when she gave her talk. But I didn't bring my guitar, but one of my high school friends brought his guitar up from Brooklyn, and we met there, and I played the song as part of her book talk. So, you know, it felt good, it was nice, and I kept waiting, so let me know when the book comes out. She goes, "Oh, not yet, not yet." So then suddenly on June 1st, she's being interviewed on NPR, and she talked about Ruby's Knishes, and she says, and a woman named Bonnie Abrams wrote a song about it. And they played about 4 lines of the song, so it was 40 seconds of fame. But it really felt good to be on NPR.
And for the musicians in the audience, this is in a very strange scale, not the standard Western scale. It's what's called Braigish.
That's it. That's
it.
That's him. That's Ruby.
That's Ruby the Knish Man.
I want to sing of Ruby's Knishes. It's been one of my fondest wishes. The taste of potato and the kasha I ate when I was a klein and nasha. Now if you don't know what a knish is, it's a Jewish dish that is delicious. It's like a thick potato pancake, wrapped in dough that's fried or baked. Now you can get a knish at any supermarket that has a deli or a kosher food department, but those yellow pillows and mashed potato rounds are nothing like the sight, the smell, the sound. When Ruby brought the push cart around, Ruby bring the knish I wanna buy. The dough was brown just like a fried cake, and the first bite that you take is tender kartoffeln auf Bissel, peppers, ox and schlots and zwiebel. Now you can get a knish
at any supermarket that has a deli or a kosher food department, but those yellow pillows and mashed potato rounds
are nothing like the sight, the smell, the sound. Oh, when Ruby brought the push cart around, Ruby, bring the push cart around. It's been 30 years now since I tasted. Oy, all the calories I wasted on cheap imitations that were no good. Still I tried every knish I could, hoping for a moment to recapture my childhood gastronomic rapture. I went to the great rabbi of Woodburn, Ruby's whereabouts to learn.
And he said, you can get a knish at any supermarket that has a deli or a kosher food department, but those yellow pillows and mashed potato rounds
are nothing like the sight, the smell, the sound. Oh, when Ruby brought the push cart around, Ruby bring the push cart around. He sent me to Lot Sheldrake, the mikvah. I said, Rabbi, this is not the answer. He said, there you'll find just what you long for. Hunger for Ruby's knish no more. Down to Lot Sheldrake on a Sunday. Now see them were crowded in the doorway of Izzy's Knishes. Now I knew why. It's good to listen to the rabbi. They said you can get a knish at any supermarket that has a deli or a kosher food department, but here at Izzy's Knishes is the only place they're found. The mother's knishes Ruby brought around. Oh, when Ruby brought the push cart around, Ruby bring the push cart around, Ruby bring the push cart around.
Search on Ruby's Knishes. You will hear our song and some pictures of Ruby the Knish Man.
Cool.
You know, it's funny because when I found a similar knish in this Izzy's, which is sort of a semi-true story, they were close. They weren't quite the same, but they were close. And I asked him who makes them. And I think these knishes are under a witness protection program because he wouldn't tell me. He says, well, they move the kitchen a lot. I still don't understand. It's like a mystery. But, and then the funny part is that the people, of course, who own this are very religious Jews. And for those who are not familiar, very religious Jewish men are not supposed to listen to women's singing voices. And it's all about sex, really, because it's like they'll get so excited by the voices that they will want to have bad thoughts. So that's where they tell the Kol Isha no listening. But I gave a copy of the song to this religious guy, and I walked in the next year and he said, hey everybody, this is the lady who wrote the song, you know. So I guess he stepped outside of his religious self.